Hello, and welcome to Rallying the Forge. I'm your host, Sol. Hello, and welcome back to Rallying the Forge Special Edition. This is the second part of our episode where I'm now going to recap the prize event that happened this past weekend on Saturday. Unfortunately, I did not have time afterwards to do this, but I'm doing it now, and I'm going to get that video out to you guys here shortly. So as you're watching this, obviously it's already out there. So just to recap again, this was Stoneblade's biggest event for SolForge Fusion as far as prize giveaways, boosters, gold, NFT, or if you had an NFT deck, you get SFG, which is the token, the crypto. So there was that. You get extra boosters for streaming, participating through the event, and sharing content. So yeah, let's go to the placings, and so there's only 2 players that went 4-0. We ended up having, I think, 44 total players enter. There were some at the start that had signed up that never made it for whatever reason. So we ended up with 44 players, still a very, very large event. This is the same amount we had at the Storyline event at Gen Con. And yeah, it was a very, very competitive event. I was shocked at how difficult all these matches were. Yeah, it was tough as nails. And so the 2 decks that went 4-0, congrats to them, Carl and Bryce. They deserve credit for going 4-0. That was extremely hard to do. I played Bryce in the 3rd round, and he crushed me. And so I'm going to go over both of their decks briefly. And then I don't know, I might pick some random ones out to see what we had going on. Yeah, this was advertised as a casual event. It was anything but. Definitely everyone brought their A game, which is okay. There's a lot of decks out there that are bronze, and this furthers my understanding of why Worlds needs to be silver and up decks only and not have bronze decks allowed. That way people will level up their good decks. So when you have bronze events, you don't have this level of decks. This was crazy, in my opinion. I went 2-2. I ended up being the top 2-2 player. I faced some pretty difficult opponents. I faced obviously Bryce, who went undefeated, and I faced Crimson Caravan Company J. We played the 4th round, and that was an extremely tough match. I had chances to win, didn't draw the cards, and so they end up taking the win on that one. And then actually, I might have beat them in the 2nd round. It might have been Filibuster that played in the 4th round. Let me see if it shows here. Yeah, I have to see what order that came in here. I might have misspoke there. Yeah, I played Filibuster in the 4th round. Actually, we had the close match where I could have won, but I didn't draw any of the cards I needed to win, and he ends up pulling out the win there. I played Crimson Caravan in the 2nd round, and that was also an extremely tight match, and I snuck away with a win there. So, anyhow, let's get to the decks for Carl here, and I'll pull up Bryce's. So Carl's deck is Utera Oloyan, and it's nice that he played Aloyan and managed to get it to go 4-0, but his Utera half is crazy good. So that had to carry the bulk of his weight with the deck, in my opinion. His Utera half has Krogaius, of course, which is everyone's favorite card to see come into play. And then he's got a Mantis and Forge Seal. So that says all you need to know about the Utera half, in my opinion. He does have Botanimate. He's got some minion creation to help fill up the board if he needs it to stall for Krogaius. So he's got a really good Utera half there. That probably could have paired with almost anything and gone 4-0, in my opinion. That's how strong his Utera half is. And then his Alolan half, though, is a lot of fun. He's got a Betrayer Utera Charger, which is a super good removal card. And as it levels up, you get more battles if it lives. So you can really strategically wipe your opponent's board out and leave yourself with a big creature still on the board that they have to answer for. So it's can be a really strong card. He's got Sonic Burst, which can be really devastating to certain types of decks. So that's a strong card to have in there. Warmonger mod, once you get past the first level, it's really strong, especially if you paired it with, say, the Utera Charger. Electronet for free play. Always love free play cards. And then Sypian Augmentation for if you have mages. I don't know if he had any mages in that half. He's got one mage. Okay. But still can be a game breaker when you get it leveled up. The higher levels with the armor and the damage. It's just, again, it's got a lot of removal. It's got a Pokemancer, of course, so if he's doing any replacing, that synergy's there for that. So he's got a lot of weapons in the deck. Obviously, he can go a lot of different directions with this. He can stall out, trying to hold out for Krogaius. If that's not going for, if you're not drawing it in a certain game or whatever, not being able to level it up, then he can go with a Pokemancer and some of these other cards in combination with that to help keep the edge in the game. I am not sure which Forgeborn he went with. If I had to guess, well, I won't guess because I'll bet he used Steel Rosetta. It gets the Dark Forge Drain on the cycle 2, no matter what. And then he's got the Replace with Reanimate ability, which goes great with the Pokemancer, among other cards. And then Tinker gets him 2 Mega Gizmo minions, so that's a great thing for him. So the deck has a ton of utility, and it is extremely strong. The Utera half is bonkers crazy good, and his Alolan half is really strong as well. It's really got great spells. That Betrayer Utera Charger is awesome there. So he's got a lot of good synergy there. So this deck went 4-0. That's wonderful. And then we're going to get over to Bryce's deck here. He played what is basically what I'm saying is the meta is Necreum Utera. That's what everyone's playing these days. That's all anyone ever plays, it seems like. He's got Blight Witch with Darkheart Sorcerer and a Shambler. Never mind the other cards, utility cards there. He's got, of course, Discian Siphon. That's a really strong spell. That can be really great with Indomitable Fiend. And then you have Spirit Leash for some removal. Not the strongest. He does have a free play with Zrath's Will. And then his Utera half has Spring Dryad. It has a Swamp Moss Lurker. He's got life gain in the deck. And then he has Botanimate for removal, hard removal. He's got Druid's Chant with more life gain. Pax Blessing for pumping or dropping a big minion. Primal Surge can be a free play if you gained health. And Summoning Council to help fill up lanes and get some Oak Fathers out in the late game. So it definitely plays on the life gain synergies, and at the same time with Darkheart and Shambler reducing your health while they're gaining everything back, and keep going in that direction. It played very strong. It's a very good deck, don't get me wrong, but I hate seeing Utera Necrim decks anymore. I'm over them, so we need new, fresh stuff instead of set one Utera Necrim. But this deck, of course, very good deck. Darkheart, Shambler. It's got a Blight Witch, so he gets more free plays with spells, and especially with a card like Indomitable Fiend, if he gets that out there with the Dissian Siphon, like that's just, it's insane amount of free plays he can work into if he draws it right. But very, very strong and hard to counteract unless you're playing maybe something very similar. Then it's just like a mirror match. But yeah, very, very good decks. They both went 4-0, so congrats to them with that. And then we'll do some other decks. Well, let's look at maybe a couple of my opponents that I played. So this was Filibuster's deck. He's playing Necrium Tempest. He's got a Rumblespark Elemental, Rumblespark Embodiment, RSC deck. So he's got, on the other half, of course, Darkheart Sorcerer. He's got a Gloom Reaper Hag, Grimgaunt Predator. These are all very strong cards to have in his deck. He's got a Vampiric Skeleton, which can be nice if he needs it to proc the Rumblespark. And then he's got a very strong set of spells. Om Nom Nom, Spirit Leash, you know, those are weak removals, but they're not bad. Could be worse. They could be Epidemic. There's Varric's Embrace, and Zerath's Will is a free play, which is great. He does have some life gain in the deck, so able to proc that enough. And then his Tempest spells, Spirit Golem Conclave, can be good depending. Fireheart Idol is nice. Flame Jet's great. Disintegrate's wonderful. And then Flame Sculptor's Seal. Used that very well against me as well. I do not remember. I think he played Korok, if I'm not mistaken, against me. Been a couple of days, so I don't remember for sure. I'm pretty sure that was the case, though. Pretty sure he played Korok, because I feel like I remember the Demolish being very useful for him at some point. But, yeah, we had a great match, and I can't remember if he was testing this in the queue before the event. I had hopped in with some decks, and I know I played him back-to-back matches. I think he was playing this deck, and I was not playing my event deck. I was playing some other decks to see which deck I wanted to use, and ended up. So I got a sneak peek at his deck, and I faced him in the 4th round. He pulls out a win. I just needed to draw one of my outs to get him, and I couldn't draw it. And unfortunately, he pulled out the win. So he got 3 wins, and I ended up with 2. And then I mentioned I played Crimson Caravan. I guess I was the only one who beat him. Surprised at that. He was playing Aloyan Utera. And so his Utera half, you can see he's got minions. He's got some replace synergy. He's got the Wanderers there. He does have some dinosaurs. Does have a fair amount of dinosaurs. He's got some pump there. And then he's got Botanimate for hard removal. Summoning Council for more minions. But also, you know, Oak Fathers in the next 2 levels helps with that. And Might of the Herd goes with his Dino synergy. Spells, overall, he has a low number, so he's heavy on the creatures. And with our match, I feel like I can't remember the exact circumstances. I wish I had jotted some notes down, perhaps, but um, he never got his Drix out, and by the time he did draw it, it was too late in the match where it was going to be too weak and not going to make much of a impact. He had the Rallying Tactician. I know that came out a few times. I feel like he was really close to winning this match, and then I pulled off some miraculous comeback. I drew like all my outs that I needed. I think I finished him off maybe with a Flame Jet or something of that nature before he was going to be able to kill me. So he has Combat Operator. He has a lot of, I feel like, does he have a lot of scientists? Biologist is a scientist. The Tactician's a scientist. And the Venerable Inventor is a scientist. Yeah, he had a lot of scientists, so he had a lot of scientist synergy going on in this deck. And it worked really well against my deck. And I can't recall who my first opponent was. Austin. Austin went 3-1 as well. Wow. Man, I really did play a tough crew. I played 3-1 guys and the guy who went 4-0. Austin's deck was also Utera Aloyan. He's got an Apocamancer in the Aloyan half there with Grove Mother. I remember I looked at that, pulled that up. He's got the Steel Eye Researcher. I did not see the Suppressing Warden until he played it in match, and I was like, shucks. So that was a nice card for him to have in his deck there. And then, of course, he's got Relentless Wanderers as well, Mystical Druid, Mystical Ravager. He does have a Mantis in the deck, no Forge Seal. I'm trying to think of what he played. I feel like he played Nova, but I can't recall. I feel like it was Nova, but maybe it wasn't. I can't recall for sure. I feel like he did not have a very good draw against me, and I think I made quick work of him for the most part. He did, I forget also, his Pulse Mage was frustrating. That worked really well for him, being able to sacrifice other minions or whatnot to keep the Pulse Mage out there and keep it going. It was definitely a card that I had to work around. So, yeah, those are the decks I faced. I talked about the two decks that went 4-0, and I'm not going to go through all the other 3-1 decks or whatnot, but it was a very fun event, and it was good to see so many new names that we haven't seen in events before, maybe haven't seen even in the Discord or whatnot. So this event definitely brought out a lot of people. You had, of course, the usual characters. The Aussies definitely showed up. They all showed up in full force. So shout out to them for that, because they definitely represent very well. And then, yeah, just a lot of new players that we haven't seen, and it was a fun event. Frustrating. I was trying to watch the football game as well as playing the event, and my event kind of went how the Michigan football game went. My first two matches I won. Michigan was doing very well in the football game. We got to halftime. I played Bryce. Michigan fell apart, almost threw the game away. I lose my fourth match, and then Michigan luckily gets the ball back and breaks out and ends up winning the game, but I did not get the third win in the tournament from that. But, yeah, it was a good event, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to touch on. Nope, I think we got our rewards today in our email for what we got. I don't know. I did not have an NFT deck. I'm not sure how many NFT decks we had in the event. I know there was several, as some people were talking about it or they've talked about it in Discord or whatnot. So I'm fairly certain Bryce's was an NFT deck. I'm not sure if Carl's was or not. So they might have both got the 1000 SFG, which is very cool. And but we got our codes for boosters for the bonuses and your record based on that in our email today. Everyone got one code at the start of the event. And that should have been messaged to you on Discord. If you did not notice that, check your messages. Lucas was the one sending those out. All the other rewards should have came through the email. I do not know about gold, though. I have not signed in today to check my gold, but I assume it's probably there, or it'll be there in the near future. Yeah, so I look forward to seeing what else Stoneblade does going forward as far as these types of events. I don't expect them to do this massive prize pool every month or anything like that, but I would love to see a big event like this that brings everyone out. If they've got to do a little bit of prize support, then I think that's worth it. It's worth it to bring people out, at least once a month for a big event like this. This reminds me of like the original SolForge. After a new set was released, they always had a big event afterwards. And I can't remember what it was called or whatnot. I know it was ran through a third-party website, and it was really cool. And you'd have like 50, 60 people playing, and granted, it was a little different format and game and all that, but those are kind of memories I have from the original SolForge. Was a lot of community participation. It seemed like events were happening more frequently, big events like this anyway. But it's been a while since I played that, obviously. So I don't really remember all the details, but this was definitely fun. I think everyone who participated had a relatively good time. There might have been some people who didn't have a good time if they went 0-4 or 1-3 maybe, but overall, I'd like to see more of these events. Hopefully Stoneblade will do that, and we look forward to see what they do going forward. It'll be an interesting next few months, as there's also the potential for Set 4 to be released. So looking forward to more information on that. So that's the recap of the event. Thanks for being here, watching, and I appreciate all the support from everybody. If you participated in the event, hopefully you had a great time, and if you missed the event, hopefully you'll catch the next one. We look forward to seeing people in the queue and in other events that are going on weekly. There's always events going on. Almost every day has an event, it seems like. There might only be 1 or 2 days that don't have an event going on, so find your fix and come play with us. And yeah, so I'll see you guys next time. This has been a special edition of Rallying the Forge. Thank you guys. Have a great day. This has been an episode of Rallying the Forge. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.